KILR Killer Game.
Hello there, gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and we are going back in time to 1984 to the Flight Simulator 2 by SubLogic for the Commodore 64. It is an epic flight that we started, I don't know, about a month ago, where we're going from the West Coast to the East Coast. So Los Angeles all the way to Martha's Vineyard. This is using the scenery discs and everything that is available for the Commodore 64. So let's go ahead and we'll pull up the series of maps so that way you can get an idea of where it is that we're going here. Ooh. Huh. Apparently it's not. Ah, there we go. I was hitting the wrong button. Okay. So these are all the SubLogic maps that I took piece by piece and pasted them all together. These yellow areas are areas that were never finished for the Commodore 64. So I put all these together so I could figure out what route I was going to be able to take to get from the west to the east. So that way I knew that there was going to be scenery coverage. So we've already flown. Well, that was not what I wanted to do. That's something completely different. So we started here in Los Angeles. We came over to Phoenix. We flew up to Gallup. We flew to Albuquerque. We been flying along the I-40, and then we stopped in Amarillo, Texas. So what are we going to do on this particular flight is we're going to go from Amarillo to Oklahoma City. That's all I'll have time for, but then later on we'll continue flying. I'm thinking of maybe going Oklahoma City to Springfield, so that'll be a little bit longer of a flight there. So we're going to want to tune in the, was it the Sayre, S-A-Y-R-E, VOR 115.2, and then Oklahoma City is over here, and I can barely read that. That looks like 116.0. There is a way that we can verify that, and that is with the actual map. So if we go over here to the reference material, we can take a look at the VOR. So the VOR for Oklahoma City is 115, not 116. Then Sayre 115.2. Okay, well that should be easy enough to remember. So we got 115.2 and then 115.0 right over there. Seems kind of easy peasy. So let's go ahead. We'll change nav1 to 115.20. There we go. It's not within flying distance, so we don't know how far it is. So let's pull up that map once again. So if we're going to be flying out of Amarillo, if this line here represents north at a right angle that is 90 degrees, I would say probably 080 flying out of Amarillo. So we'll set nav2 to 117.2 and fly out in that direction, and we should then be able to intersect with our first waypoint. Oh, perfect. And it's already set for 117.2. So we just need to set the OBSs, OBIs, or whatever you want to call them. Okay, so that's 080. When nav1 comes into range, then we'll just center this needle here, and we'll fly that directly to the heading that it states. All right, realistic engine sounds here. Now there's a really thin runway over here. I thought, that might be kind of fun just to take off from. Whoa, what? Alright, I know why it's doing that. The trim was all the way up. I didn't even see that. And so it was like wanting to... it was stalling. Good thing we're on the ground. That would have been the end of it. Alright, there's the runway right there. I had recently done a live stream and video on X-Plane 12 as well as Flight Sim 2020, and here I am going all the way back to this. I think some people might jump into this and then they'll just get as far as down the end of the runway and like, yeah, you know what, I think I've kind of had enough. We're turning around here. Oops. All right, we're just about centered here. All right, I think that'll do it. I've already got one thing of flaps down, so that's good, because I think this is a short runway. Alright, we're finally in the air, although it looks like that's not good. Okay, well, and with that, we'll give this another try. I think that is more like it. There goes Amarillo right behind us. This out here in the distance is the actual patch of Amarillo, with the the I-40 being this right here. Now we can do some VFR and just basically follow that line all the way out to Oklahoma City if we want to do that. Sorry, not that line there, this one over here. I think I may see the problem. I think it's the mixture. I have the mixture like halfway down. That's just me turning down the volume because it's kind of hurts the ears a little bit. So I figure, what, maybe fly somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 feet. Oh, we can fly lower than that. Oklahoma City, the altitude is 1,296. In the old simulator, I tend to like to fly about 3,000 feet above ground. Because, well, there's not much to look at scenery-wise, so why fly so high? So I guess as we get closer, we'll go down to about 4,500 feet. looks like we have a lake or something, or a river or something that's up there. You'll notice there's a white line and then there's a blue line right there. That usually means there's a river or there's a lake or something that's up ahead. And I think I can see what it is. So we're over here in this area of Amarillo. Can I draw on this thing? Ooh. So we're in this area right here. This is the river right here. And I think that's what we're seeing. We're flying this way and we're seeing this off into the distance. Yeah. And then this is the I-10. Yeah, see the river out there? That's what we're seeing. Amarillo back there. And this is not a Cessna we're flying, it's a Piper PA-28, I believe. What was it? PA-28-181? It was the only one in the series that had a different plane. Everything else is a Cessna. A Cessna with retractable gear. This one does not. And I did make a point to get this same exact plane for the other simulators. With exception to the new ones, X-Plane 12 and Flight Sim 2020, because they don't have them. And although the PA-28 I have, it's actually an X-Plane 10, X-Plane 11 plane, and it don't work on X-Plane 12, unfortunately. This is the overhead map, and you can see the river that I was referring to over to the left. Now this line is the I-10. This one here is the one that goes southwest. I forget what the name of that road is. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see, I got a better idea. Okay, that is the 267 is what that is. Go ahead and show that here to you. So here's the real thing right here. Here's the airport we just took off from. We took off from this really small runway right here, which something must have changed since 1984 to now, because the airport that we went past, it had a cross runway. This one does not. So at some time they must have moved. They must have moved a runway or something. Like maybe it was right here at one time, and then they changed it around. Like this is Business Loop I-40 right here. But yeah, so we're coming off in this direction here. So the 287 is that road that's going southwest. Here, let's turn off the aerial here. It goes through Claude and Clarendon, Memphis, not Tennessee. But yeah, it comes all the way down here, Wichita Falls, all the way down to Dallas-Fort Worth. That's where this one goes to. Is there that many lakes? I don't remember seeing that many lakes in Texas. Maybe in a way, I don't know. It just seems kind of weird. Then we got a lake right up here, Lake Meredith. And there is a river that comes across this way, which I am not seeing here. That's it. There. So you can see it a little better on the aerial view. There it is. What river is that? The Canadian River. That's what that is. Look at this, we have a city flyover here. Wonder how that works. Ah, this is a city flyover of Amarillo. Well, that's kind of cool. So this is the city that we departed from. go ahead and take a look at Oklahoma City. Oh, what? Oh, there it is. There it is. Alright, so here is a city flyby of Oklahoma City. It'll look just like this in Flight Simulator 2. Although I wonder if this building right here is in Flight Simulator 2020, or if it just has generic buildings. That'll be interesting to see. So there you go. Some real footage on where we're going. I mean, you can see it right here. And we're almost intersected with nav number 2. You can see that there. And our first waypoint has just kicked in. It's 68 miles away. Wow, heading 080. Boy, that was really on the ball with that one. That's pretty good guessing. Let's keep our altitude between 4,500 feet and 5,000 feet. Alright, so we got quite a bit of flying here to do, and I will go ahead, let you guys relax with this retro simulator as we fly, and I'll check back with you in a little bit. Alright, I am back here because we are 5 miles away from Sayre, S-A-Y-R-E, if I'm pronouncing that right, Texas. Kind of coming just a little bit off track there. So that's it up ahead of us, that little brown patch. And we'll just show you on the map where it's at. This is it, right here. Zoom in a little bit there. So this is what we're approaching, and then the next spot we'll be going to is Oklahoma City, right there. Here it is on a real map, right there. Oh, okay, it's not Texas, it's Oklahoma, sorry. Yeah, we've crossed over into Oklahoma now. Looking for the right place there in Oklahoma. See if I can find some pictures of it. So this appears to be one of the main things in Sayre is the courthouse. I'm seeing this repeated quite a bit. Here is downtown historic district. This is off of the old Route 66. There's the courthouse again. Oh, that's interesting. There's like a bull with a like an old uniform there. Yeah, pretty much all the same thing there. Gives you a chance to see what that looks like for real. And we have now passed the Vor. Unfortunately, I did not see a flyover like what we saw for Amarillo and Oklahoma City. We've burnt about half of our fuel on the left and right tank. I've been switching back and forth between them. Right down here on the lower right corner, you'll see the arrow pointing over to the right. Enusik, hey, how are you? If that's the frame rate on modern hardware, I shudder of the thought of how it ran back then. Actually, the same, because this is going through an emulator, so it's emulating a Commodore 64 with the same timing of a real machine. So what you see is exactly what it was. And if you had smoother frame rates, you'd be going too fast. Yeah, it does. This is the Vice emulator. I used to use CC64, and then I started using Vice because it's the emulator that's used for the C64 Forever package, which is done by Cloanto, which is the same company that puts together the Amiga Forever package. So you buy Amiga Forever and you get C64 Forever, and they use the Vice emulator. So I just decided to just go ahead and use Vice, and actually it is nicer. It's still developed where CCS64 is not, but it even so it works pretty well. But I do like Vice a little better. You've actually got different color schemes, so you can set up the color to match European PAL format, NTSC, and then it's got the color formats for the other emulators. The color format for this is actually the same as CCS64, so it's kind of nice to see that. The power of 1 megahertz and a floppy disk. Oh wow. Went and got an Amiga 1200, Amiga 2000, Amiga 4000 with various add-ons. I have an Amiga 500, which doesn't work anymore. I have an Amiga 2000, which I assume works. And then I have 2 Amiga 4000s. One of them is mine, and one of them is from a friend who has long passed away. And both of the Amiga 4000s that I have the video toaster flyer editing setup, which was cool back then. It is completely out of date now. It would be more of a pain to try to edit video with it compared to nowadays, because you had to have special SCSI hard drives. You couldn't use IDE. They had to be SCSI. We've got an airport up here. Toaster for the win. I do admit I did quite a bit with the toaster and had a lot of fun with it. Let's take a look at the map. This number 8 right there is the airport that we were seeing. Burns Flat, let's see. Clinton, Sherman. That is the airport. Let's see. Somewhere around here. Let's see if we can find it. There it is. Well, I think they changed the name of it. The Sayre Municipal. Oh, that's down here. That's not where the one is that... It was like over here. Oh, here it is. Burns Flat. There it is. This is it. This is what we were seeing. The Clinton Sherman Airport. There it is. Looks like just one runway. Yep, I see just one runway there. And we are on our way to Oklahoma City, where we'll be landing. And we will continue our coast-to-coast flight a little later on. I believe this is part 4 of the series. Just moving right along with my goal to go from the West Coast to the East Coast. Something that I've done, I think, at least once back when the Commodore 64 first came out. I've got the Oklahoma City VOR tuned in on nav 2. We don't have a signal yet, but once we do, I'll move that over to nav 1 so we can see how far away it is. And our flight's been about an hour and a half now. At about 130 knots. Might be interesting to do this flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator and see if it takes the same amount of time. And then that river up ahead, we talked about that earlier, that is the Canadian River, which is nowhere near Canada. Maybe it comes from Canada, I don't know. And we now have a signal for Oklahoma City, so let's go ahead and set that. 68 miles. At a heading of 076. Fading back here to the map, if we take a look, the VOR is right here before we get to the patch that will be Oklahoma City. And Oklahoma City Will Rogers Airport is this, with the 3 lines right there. It's just a little bit past the VOR. And it looks... I'd say if we were to leave the VOR at a heading of 090, we should be able to line up with one of those 2 runways there. Let's take a closer look at the information for Oklahoma City. Here it is. Oh, look at that. We got a really short runway right there. With this plane, I don't know if we'd be able to... We might. It's a little challenging in this simulator to land. But it looks like we've got a runway... We got 3 runway 17, so it looks like we got a right, center, and a left. So we'll pick one of these here. And we'll be passing that river before we get to the VOR. There'll be an airport just before we get to it. Number 9, El Reno Mustang. Number 9 is right next to this. Is an ADF right there. See, we're getting closer to the river. I-40 is right there. going to go ahead and set VOR number 2 for that 090 heading. So we'll pick that up after we pass the Oklahoma City VOR. So we're going to take a heading that takes us directly to it, and then we're going to hop on board the 090 radio out of it. Then we should be able to see the airport off to the right, and we can line up with one of those runways and go ahead and land. And at 58 miles, we can probably start our descent a little bit. We're at 5,300, and the elevation for Oklahoma City is 1,296. So I would say about 4,000 feet should give us a decent, usually from what I have discovered in this, if you're about 3,000 feet above ground, you'll have an easier time being able to see the runways and get lined up. And I believe we can see Oklahoma City out there in the distance. I see a little bit of brown right there. And here's the overhead map. See, there it is, right up there. You got the Canadian River here, and then the, I don't know what river that is over there. Yes, looking at these graphics for about 2 hours can tire out the eyes. whenever that happens, that always that always shocks me every time I hear that. Thank you for the 100 bits, I think. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been collecting those. Yeah, exactly. With graphics and sounds like this, what do we need modern Sims for? Exactly. You don't need a you don't need an i9 computer with a 4070 graphics card. Yeah, this is really expensive, inexpensive. You can use an outdated Windows 95, 98 machine and get the same performance. With very little disk space. The funny thing is when I do these streams and even record a backup copy, it winds up being, I don't know, a few hundred megabytes. It doesn't even reach up to a terabyte, and that's like with 3 hours of footage because the graphics are so simple that it doesn't take a whole lot of data to record it. That was my phone. Just a scam call is all that was. The IowaScotsman waving hello. Hello back. So does that mean that you have Scottish heritage and you live in Iowa? Yeah, extended warranty on our car. That could be one, or it could be the many calls that we keep saying, yeah, do you still have your house at da-da-da-da-da address? Nope. We no longer have that house. Yeah, they need to be careful because the next time I get one of those calls, Pandy Panda is going to be answering it. It should be rather interesting. It should make for a very good video. My wife and I have been talking about getting those adult Happy Meals from McDonald's because she puts up TikTok videos and so do I. So we were kind of thinking of just doing kind of a review. Because she's going to do the chicken nugget, yeah, the chicken nugget one, and I'm going to do the Big Mac one. I actually came across an article. It was from CNBC actually, and they were saying that it's totally not worth it. It actually costs $2.60 more. The person's from New York. It costed him $2.60 more to get that adult Happy Meal compared to just getting a Big Mac meal, which is like the same amount of food. And I read that article to my wife, and she's like, "You're paying for the box and the toy that's inside it. That's why it's $2.60 more." Which, well, you know, that makes a lot of sense to me. Ah, yes. Now, as far as the KILR, that was an idea that I came up with on my own. I did not know anything about the radio station in Iowa, and I can prove that because I came up with the idea back in the late 80s, before internet was really a thing. Yeah, it was very, very basic at the time, but it wasn't the wealth of knowledge that we have, you know, today. Yeah, back then it was 14.4 modems and 28.8 modems, and I was going through CompuServe at the time, so not a whole lot of, you know, real internet searching and stuff like that. It was still in its infancy. Why is my stream element still throwing up the Hello Fresh thing? I turned that thing off. Pay no attention to that. I turned that thing off. It should not be going back on there again. Maybe I should just delete it. That's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and delete that thing. Yeah. Yeah, don't do that. Don't use that code. It won't work. I had done a couple of sponsorships. Alright, where is it? Chatbots, chat commands, custom commands. Alright, there it is. I'm going to delete that. And now we should not... I even have it turned off. I have that chat thing turned off. It should not have popped up there. That's weird. Alright. So I got that chat thing deleted. If it still shows up, I don't know, it must be a ghost or something. You know what it could be? It could be Stream Elements directly. They've hijacked my stream and are advertising on it. What's up with that? So now there's a new sponsorship with Raid Shadow Legends, which I've never played before. But apparently if you can get... you can make a little bit of money if you can get 5 people to play the tutorial of Raid Shadow Legends. They must really want to push that game. I don't know how good it is. We got 33 miles to go until we get to the Oklahoma City VOR. The airport is a little bit after that. So I'd say in total we probably got about 40 miles. I'd say roughly 35 to 40 minutes of flying. And I did do a couple of flights yesterday from Phoenix to Tucson on both X-Plane 12 and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We should clarify. Just so I can look at the two and kind of, you know, compare them. Because I used orthophotos on X-Plane 12. I tried to fly it with default scenery, and I just couldn't. The default scenery was, I don't want to say it was an eyesore, but these days and ages, I would want to see something a little better than just default scenery. So, and I had orthophotos already that I was using with X-Plane 11. So I used the orthophotos in combination with the X-World America. And it puts all the autogen where it should be, and it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty decent. It flies nicely, that's for sure. So kind of to catch you folks up on what we're doing, we are flying directly to the Oklahoma City VOR, and then after that we're going to catch the 090 radio out of the VOR, and that should get us at an angle that we can line up with one of the runways. I believe it was 17. So there's like a 17 right, center, and left. The right one is actually a very short runway. It would be interesting to see if those runways, if all those runways are still being used. Let's see. There's Oklahoma City. Let's see if I can find the airport. There it is. Oh, interesting. That short runway is not there. So they must have removed it after all that time. So that's one thing that's interesting with these old simulators. You can actually see which VORs were removed, or runways that were removed, that were either removed, added, or moved to a different location. So take a look at this from the map. Here's Oklahoma City, Will Rogers World. You'll see that there are 3 runway 17s. 1, 2, then a really tiny one right there, and then runway 12. Now here is the actual airport today. you'll see runway 17 here and here. But do you see that small one anywhere? Nope. It is not there. It's gone. But here's the other runway right there. Was that runway 12? Yep, see, there it is. 17 right and left. So yeah, the thin one that they had there, they got rid of that. Which I can see them doing that because it's a really short runway. They give you the opportunity to actually see the real thing there. That's the Canadian River that we're seeing right there. There's one airport. That's not the one that we want, though. That airport... see, number 9 is El Reno Mustang. I don't know if I can find it here. I'll try to find it. And I believe I found it. It's the El Reno Regional Airport. It's on Mustang Field Road. There's the real airport. Right here, that we're about ready to approach. It's got a runway 17. That's a really small airport there. And that's the airport right ahead of us. Looks like the real thing. That engine sound has kind of like a hypnotic feel to it. Here it is in map view overhead. We're heading almost due east. And that is Oklahoma City, right there in front of us, up ahead. Whew. Have to lie down after this flight. So we are now just a little under 3,000 feet above ground level. This is a pretty good altitude to have when needing to line up with the runway. It's a little harder to see them in this older game because of the jagged lines. I think it's funny in modern reviews that they talk about, yeah, there's some jagged lines there. I mean, no, not compared to these jagged lines, there's not. Heck, we didn't even have anti-aliasing back then. I don't remember anti-aliasing until the Commodore Amiga. I've got to try the X-Plane 12 with VR. I've already done it with Flight Sim 2020, but I wouldn't mind revisiting that. Pretty amazing in VR. 7 miles from the Oklahoma City VOR. I hear a little kitty crying. I saw the needle on OBS2 starting to move. So we'll be able to pretty shortly change our heading to 090. There's the airport. You can see the two runways there. Here's the cross runway right there. You could actually turn and land on that cross runway. I'm thinking we should probably do that. Land on that cross runway. It'll be a lot easier. Alright, let's put down some flaps. Okay, well, going the completely wrong direction. Takes a little bit of finesse here. Oh, holy crap. My ears are ringing. Can you all see that runway there? It's right here. That's what we're trying to line up with. And if we take a look at the map, we'll know. Yep, see that? Pretty much lined up. We got about another 1,000 feet to go here as far as altitude is concerned. You remember that really tiny runway that we were talking about? I can see it right here. I mean, that thing is super short of a runway. You kind of have to watch where those diagonal lines go so you can get an idea if you're lined up or not. So we're kind of sort of lined up, not exactly. Almost there. There we go. We are down. Got our flaps up. Okay, we were already landed. Sometimes that just happens. You know, maybe we hit something on the oh, hey, I think we found our... That's the small runway right there. Oh no, that's not the small runway. That's that runway. Okay. See that small runway there? Look at that. And we looked at a modern day map, and that runway is not there anymore. This really small one. Let's just let's get parked over here in the grass. This is what I used to do back with this old simulator. I kind of park in the grass like at the intersection of two runways. There we are. Woo! Now my ears are like ringing and stuff. So there you go. We flew from Amarillo, Texas to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma in SubLogic Flight Simulator 2 for the Commodore 64. So our journey continues to the East Coast. And we'll be doing that later. I don't know if we're going to do it later on today. I know there's some other retro simulators that I want to work on, as well as some videos for my YouTube channel. So if you haven't already visited KILR TV over on YouTube, you should head over there and check it out, as well as the other social media that I have. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on another stream and another video soon. Have a killer, awesome day.